fight isn't over. The fight is just beginning.
What's going on, guys? Wanted to discuss something I haven't even thought about that just came up right before I left the house, and that is the interdimensional, whether that is demons, aliens. I think a demon and an angel really is the same thing. I mean, one is good and one is bad, though. So you're basically looking at demons and aliens. I think you're part of the minority if you think there aren't UFOs at this point. Everybody knows that there's definitely stuff flying around that a lot of people have noticed. And I was going to pose the question, what do you guys think it is? Do you think both exist? Aliens and demons? Here's what I think, and I really, full disclosure, of course I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just kind of guessing. If I had to guess, it's both. The universe is way too big not to have other life. It's just a waste of space. And I believe in a higher power. So, think of if we were made, then of course others were made. Would make sense. Now, does it make sense that a world would exist right in front of our eyes that we can't see or interact with? Yes, 100%. I think that exists. I think that there's definitely a world that we can't interact with. Think of the world as we know it. How bizarre and insane that is. That we exist in infinity. The chances of you being born alone are insane, like insanely unlikely for you to have been born. And then on top of that, put the probability in play of being born in the U.S., wealthiest country on the planet. That probability is extremely low. Already you're an extremely lucky person. Every single one of you watching who is in the U.S., any country that is wealthy like we are, congratulations, you won the lottery. But think about the probability of us existing. So now that we know the probability, like we've thought of, at least considered and given thought on the probability of us being born and where we're born, consider the probability of us existing on a planet shooting through infinity in space. Like, we think of the surroundings, we think of this as our permanent world. This is all we know. I mean, this is all we see, this is all we know. Much like a bunch of ants on an anthill. They go inside, they come outside, they roam around on their little anthill. That's all they know. That this is the world to them. I mean, out there, I can't even wrap my head around how infinite the expanses of space are. And much less the infinite possibilities of existence. Now, I'm not talking about existence as in the physical, but rules that don't apply to us and dimensions that don't apply to us. We're thinking one-dimensional almost, like we think that this is all there is. And most of us go about our daily lives not even considering that there's anything else. I mean, to us it's a big deal to fly to another country or even another state. But think about how small that is. We are a speck of sand in a desert. To understand or to even like give thought to whether or not there are other life forms, intelligent life. And I think intelligent life is the main one we're looking for. Because who cares about a slug, you know? If there's a slug out there crawling around on another planet, it's kind of like, oh, it's kind of cool, I guess. But if that slug is flying a spaceship around, now we're talking. Now we're talking. I want to see that. I think I think it's definitely possible. I think it's not only possible, I think it's very likely. Maybe not a slug, but on our current trajectory, human beings are going to end up like slugs. Kind of like that movie, I think it's WALL-E, where all the people are rolling around on these floating chairs with screens in front of them. I think that's, you know, when people get really atrophied, that's kind of where we're heading. We're getting smart with technology. Technology is holding our information so well now that we are becoming smarter and smarter, but we are becoming weaker and weaker at a higher rate too. I mean, I would hate to get in a fight with somebody 100 years ago. I know how tough my grandpa was. The grandpa before him was probably one tough son of a gun. Roaming around, no phones or anything. Just crazy to think about now. But even human beings on our current trajectory, we should be moving along pretty quickly at this point to where we're able to travel in the ways that we're seeing these aircraft travel. And my opinion is that the stuff that we're seeing, that's us. We are that. You know, if the Navy saw an aircraft that was going a couple thousand miles per hour within a second, they wouldn't know what it was because that's not in their department. I think that at a bare minimum we're using nuclear powered stuff. That's a no-brainer. We should be if we're not. Use nuclear powered stuff. Shoot. Not going to make any noise. You're going to be able to go real fast. Do it. So yeah, I think we have crazy technology, and I think that we have, I mean, why don't we have things invisible? Like, it's not that hard to create a cloaked thing. You think of it as this impossible thing to do, to make something cloaked, but it's not impossible to do. You can make a suit cloaked very easily using a mirror system. Governments have already shown this technology, and it's very easy to do. So, that said, we definitely can make invisible aircraft. That's a no-brainer. And anybody who thinks they are seeing things, maybe it's a malfunction of the aircraft, but if you can make an aircraft move that fast, why wouldn't you be able to make it invisible too? That's my thought. Like, and why are you being seen? Like, okay, we have the technology to go, you know, from 0 to 10,000 miles per hour instantly, which is anti-gravity, maybe even dimension hopping. But if that's the case, then why don't you have the technology to be able to foresee a jet from a couple hundred miles away and make sure they don't see you? Or maybe even be invisible to their radar. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer to me. There are things that don't make sense about our sightings that we've had lately, but all that said, it's definitely us. And also, there's got to be some aliens flying around up there somewhere, likely in the same predicament as we are, with our rules, our same laws of physics that that limit us, limit our travels. I think that'd be pretty wild if an alien spaceship showed up with slugs in it. But I would love to see the day. I think that if something like that's going to happen, I want to see it. I want to be here, be around for it. People act like that would be such a terrible thing. But you're going to die anyways, guys. Let's see some interesting things. I want to see it. I wish that there wasn't so much ambiguity around all this stuff. I mean, it's all clearly, so there's some things happening. Just let us experience some cool stuff, you know? Let's see some aliens. Let's see some spaceships that are crazy, even if there are no aliens in them. That's another thing. Like, there's probably no aliens in there. It's probably unmanned. Anyways, guys, now that I've ranted about aliens and whatnot, demons, that I don't know. That I really don't know. I haven't seen any crazy stuff happen with that. I've seen people with mental health crisis, but I'm sure there's dimensional beings for sure. I'm open to it, but I would have to see more for sure, because all of the shows I've seen about it and everything, like, it's a bunch of people clearly being shady about it, not really showing anything. All the ghost shows and everything, I mean, it's very obvious that people are being duped into believing that stuff. But there's probably demons, there's probably aliens, there's probably some other weird stuff we don't know about, and I'm sure there's technologies that are wild. I want to see that, because that's what I know exists. I want to see it. It'd be nice. It would be nice. I mean, if there's slugs flying around in spaceships which doesn't make any sense, seems like they'd have the tech to be unmanned by now. Anyways, that's my thought. Those are my thoughts on it. Pretty scattered, but there they are. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.